Let's begin some hands-on work for myofascial release or soft tissue work. Lots of different places to start. Well, we're going to start from the ground up, from the bottom up today for a few different reasons. Number one, for consistency and to be systematic. Number two, the foot is what makes contact with the ground. So if you have restrictions in the fascial tissue or the arthrokinematics of the foot ankle, it will throw off the rest of the kinetic chain. And I'm going to go over something today that you may or may not be familiar with. First off, usually people will address this technique when they're worried about plantar fasciitis or fasciitis, however you choose to say it. But I believe this is an important technique for general myofascial release techniques, even trying to loosen up the foot ankle or the rest of the kinetic chain. As you can see behind me, I've got plenty of toys and balls and other stuff and gizmos, and I've got another 4 or 5 in my office. I just honestly couldn't carry them with all the stuff I brought over here to the courts. So we're going to use what we have. This is the most important array I think that I have. You don't have to use it, but you got plenty of stuff. So let's start over on this end for the objects that have a little bit more density and a smaller diameter. They're going to allow us to get some good work out of this one. We're going to use the lacrosse ball first off, right across the bottom of the foot. So if you're going to address the bottom of the foot, something you might want to do is remove the footwear. Lacrosse ball is going to have some bite to it. It's going to have some hop to it. And I get a nice yellow one here that contrasts the blue tennis court, as well as my orange ray. Do you like the color coordination? I mean, I'm down. I got the orange socks, I got a little orange thing. My wife said I look too pale, so you guys can comment on the video, put a thing up on my website, but I might look like a pumpkin, but that's all right. I like the contrast. So we're gonna start with the ball. Now, honestly, when I release the tissue on the bottom of the foot, I like to hang on to something so I'm not really weight bearing on this foot, but in the middle of the tennis court, that's how it goes. So we can start just above the ball of the foot. We can work all the way down the arch towards the heel. We can work circular, we can work across the transverse arch. I a lot of times like to have something that's going to have a little give to it. The lacrosse ball is not going to have much give to it. It's pretty unforgiving, it's a little rough, it's a little mean, but it will do the trick. So you can use that slow, steady movement, or if you have a tissue that's inflamed or aggravated, you can stop on it, stay on it, and hold. You can use a tennis ball as well. We'll pull that over. Tennis ball is going to have some give, and they have different densities to the tennis balls. I like oftentimes an object that's going to have some give to it. It's going to come closer to matching the organic properties of the body. Empirically, sometimes when you have something with just a bit of give superficially, it can match the organic properties of the body. The body might be more likely to respond to it, like a thumb or an elbow, or many of the different objects I have here today just have a little bit of give. So sometimes I use a softball or a baseball or a lacrosse ball, there's almost no give there. So we're releasing the fascia on the bottom of the foot, not just to release the plantar fascia, but because we know if you've kind of studied some of the work of Rolfers, and we can start with Ida Rolf and go all the way down. Think of anatomy trains, it's a great text, but think of that back line of fascia that's going to run from the bottom of the foot up to the posterior chain of the body. So if you're trying to loosen up the posterior chain of the body and the calves, spend a little bit of time going across the bottom of the foot. I'm not going to do everything bilaterally here today. You get the gist.